Guys, and welcome to your March 2021 reading. We are going to be taking a look at how you and your love interests are feeling for this month. We are entering Pisces season, so I do want to go over just a couple different little notes so you are aware and that you can use the most benefit of the energy of Pisces this month. I am going to use several decks while we go look into love. We're going to really dive in because Pisces season is overall a very sentimental and very compassionate type of energy for the month. We're really able to look beyond kind of some of those surface situations, and some of those dreamy vibes, even for the most cynical person, can really start to come out, and you can just kind of get an opportunity to really enter into that world and explore some of your emotions and kind of get your senses going into all of that. I really want to point out that your intuition and your ability to tap into that and experience those serendipities and those coincidences are going to be kind of striking this month. I mean, you're really going to stand out, and you're going to have an opportunity to either acknowledge them and realize that this is really something, or you can ignore them. I would definitely recommend doing some periodic reality checks. That would be wise, especially if it includes money or wellness or love or any of those things. Just make sure you're kind of coming from a very practical standpoint. Keeping your third eye chakra is going to be very important, because it does involve communication and creativity. Well, not as much communication, but it does involve a clear connection, almost on an intuitive and spiritual level. So you want to keep that flowing, and it's really it does have more to do with that intuitive type of sense. So if you feel like you need to get that open, if you feel like you have a blockage there, we can definitely look into that, so you can reach out and ask me about that. Lots of water this month, you guys. I can't even stress that enough. It is, for whatever reason, it just definitely stands out this month to try to keep that flow, going. You definitely want to keep your channels open and keep your body in the best health possible. And definitely sit down with a notebook if you start noticing you guys have dreams, or these repetitive types of situations, or things are just kind of, you try to put the puzzle pieces together. Start writing the puzzle pieces down so that you can really do that at some point that you feel comfortable. At this point, just let it go. If you got some grudges you're holding on to, some things that you just kind of governs how you feel and how you're doing things and how you're applying your energy, really take a moment and reflect on that, identify it, and just get it out the door. It's really the perfect time to release that. Pisces season and energy can certainly illuminate some of those things, and you really don't want to fall victim to that mentality, as opposed to just kind of rising above that and dealing with the change that needs to take place. Other than that, allow yourself to romanticize, let go, and just allow this. It can be intense, the Pisces season, so you might as well make the most of it in a romantic way, to where you not only can kind of have this glamour shine to those around you, and the person that you do have a love interest in, they can kind of see that a little bit softer side of you, that you kind of open up your heart space and open up that ability to communicate and get on that same page. If that's the other person that needs to be doing that, you can expect a little bit more of that coming from them. Overall, it's going to be much better to come out of that shell and to not be, hard-nosed to it, or criticizing yourself or the possibilities and the potential of the relationship. Okay, so just keep the vibes high and allow yourself to just kind of deepen that connection with the person that you're interested in. Okay, so we have a couple things that we're going to look at this month: how they feel about you, kind of understanding where some of those blockages are, why you might be feeling the way that you've been feeling. We're going to dive into some strategies that can help and kind of identify what's out of balance, and get you the most information that you can possibly use to get your relationship and love life in the exact position that you'd like it to be. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll see how things are looking for you. Hey Leos. All right, we're going to start with how the person you're interested in is feeling about you, and then we'll get into the rest of the questions as far as how you're doing and just some pieces of advice that can be helpful for the month. Let's take a look. So how is the person of your interest feeling about you, March 2021? The Fool and the Sun in reverse. So maybe they're excited about a new start, but they're not sure where you stand. Let's get a clarification on that Sun in reverse. Yeah, it's something about how somebody's not on the same page. Okay, there's some curiosity, there's some I don't necessarily say concern, but I think it's more just not sure. I also feel like someone might even be kind of questioning the trust situation. So kind of discern if that's, your insecurities, their insecurities. Is it something you guys can kind of come to terms with? But there's definitely a desire to move forward. The person wants to, but one of the two of you has some kind of an issue with trust or uncertainty in some area or another. Okay. Ten of Swords, Ace of Swords, and Death and Rebirth. So it's nothing that a good conversation can't take care of, basically. Okay, so you get it out on the table, drop the swords, get it to where you guys can actually discuss it, or it's something that is neutral at that point, and then watch what happens with that. It'll definitely transition into something that, will either, for some of you, give you the information you needed so you can move on, and for others of you, it needed to be cleared up so you guys can really take it to the next level. So definitely get it out there so you guys can address that situation. Now let's take a look at why, just kind of an idea of why you've been feeling the way you've been feeling. New love. Embrace an opportunity for love in your work, prospects, or for spiritual growth. So I feel like it's possible that you guys have a little bit of an insecurity, possibly because of past situations, and this is a brand new, maybe this is kind of either a new kind of turning point in the relationship, or it is a new relationship altogether. And with that said, it is important to not let past energies interfere with what you have going on. And so if you're the one with the insecurity, definitely take that into consideration and deal with that in a way that is proactive and not going to negatively impact the potential, success of this new relationship, should this be something you're interested in, of course. Okay. Miracles and blessings. Everything has its gift. So, my first impression was, if it's something that's outside of your norm, at least give it a chance to understand why it came into your existence and into your reality. Whether it's long-term or not doesn't mean it doesn't have a very important, lesson or message behind it. Okay, so you could be feeling just a bit uncertain, really, with everything going on, trying to get answers and understanding on what to do or how to feel about this person, if it's going to be long-term. But if that's the case, if you could be coming off a little bit cold shoulder, and it could be giving the wrong impression. So if that resonates to you, just make sure you are clearly communicating, what you like, what you don't like, your concerns, and don't, I wouldn't write it out any longer than it needs to, especially if clarification can fix it up, okay? Now, as far as what part of you are you kind of working on addressing or leaving behind? Addressing patience, and healthy boundaries. Yeah, I think that's good. And relaxation. So I feel like the more patient and more relaxed you are, the more you can come to a position where you can ground, you can come to terms with things. And those healthy boundaries, of course, do come when you guys can lay those down, right? If you have healthy boundaries up for yourself and you're feeling kind of this confliction, really dive in and deep and see what that is and where that's stemming from. If you're lacking healthy boundaries in your own life, I'd say back up a little bit and reestablish those so that you just kind of know. You have to have a starting point. If you're just kind of throwing yourself out there, you really don't have anything, no bearing on things. So draw that line and allow yourself to stick to that, and I think you'll feel much more comfortable and confident about the relationship the relationships you have in the future. The relationship you have in the future, as well as it will help give you a sense of clear confidence when you're making your decisions and you're writing these out with the right intentions rather than from past traumas or something like that. I'm going to pull from this deck here when it comes to what things might be out of balance that you need to work on. Spontaneity, transformation. So using the power of love to move through illusions and shift into a proper awareness. And that transformation definitely comes when you slow down, you take a moment, and you move beyond the constraints, which is what this card is talking about, the constraints of the mind, and freely and lovingly embrace new situations. So I'm getting quite a few messages, so I'm assuming that there's quite a few of you with different situations. So take it as it resonates. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but I am getting the impression that some of you, it's just your fears that are stopping you, and others of you, that's something that's come up that you have a concern about legitly, and you need to address it. So depending on your situation, that is kind of what I'm seeing when it comes to the things that might be out of balance, and what you can do to restore the balance there. Yeah, take ownership on either side. Needs to take ownership on the things that we, our mishaps, as well as the things that we do right, and continuing to have that autonomy and that individuality, and having that ability to just separate certain things but then come together in certain ways. You're laying down your heart, you're opening up, but you also have this understanding that you're still you, and you still have this, and it doesn't need to completely mesh together, because commitment is the bottom of the deck here, all about being dedicated and wholehearted and loyal. Okay, and that's where you guys are going with this. So I hope that helps. If you need some clarification in your particular situation, all the information on how to book a reading is down below. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great month. Much love. We'll talk to you soon.